Alright, Shalom, Kuala, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ruach Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to your brothers out there in the highways and byways that's north and south abroad, around the country and around the world. And I just want to talk about faith, I want to get into this topic about faith. And I want to start with the book of Hebrews chapter 11 verse 6, and it says, "But without faith it is impossible to please him, for he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, which is he is, his name stand, which is Yahweh, which the Most High's name stands for I am, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him, So I want to talk about faith and talk about the faith challenge, because we as men in the Lord, that's within, GMS, that's within this truth, Our faith is constantly being tested day by day, while we're in this truth, And that's the faith challenge, because it says in the book of Ecclesiasticus, the book of Sirach, the 2nd chapter, "My son, if thou comest to serve the Lord, prepare thyself for temptation, set thy heart upright and constantly endure." What does that mean? That means your faith will be tested when you come in this faith, when you come in this truth, And it's the faith challenge, And now I know Jake out there, they got their own challenges going on, You got something called the Kiki challenge, that Drake set up, where all these Jakes are, dancing in the streets and doing all this, bullshit dances, and all these other bullshit as other challenges. But yet one thing Jake fails to do is, is to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments and come back to the Most High. They don't want to do that challenge, but they rather do all these other bullshit as, worldly, folly, other things, in this thing. But one thing they can't do is they can't, come back to the law, come back to the Most High, come back to these law, statutes, and commandments, which is the real challenge, That is the challenge, the faith challenge. Because I just read in the book of, in Hebrews 11 and 6, that without faith it is impossible to please the Most High, So if you don't have any faith, you can't please the Most High. You can't please Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, So when the elect, is woken up to this truth, and by the brothers that are out there in the highways and byways that's doing this work, and his spiritual intellect is activated, with this word, and he comes in and does this truth, his faith is being activated, his faith has been turned on, so to say, and that faith is the key thing. That's what's gonna get you through this truth, That's what's gonna get you through, that's how you're gonna survive in this truth, That's how you're gonna get through in this truth, just like a vehicle, What makes that vehicle move, What is the substance that makes that vehicle to move, that makes that vehicle to go from point A to point B, That's that fuel, it's gasoline that operates that car, that operates that engine, that causes that engine, to work and to get that car from point A to point B. Likewise, faith, Faith is the substance in this truth that you need to get from, from the one stage to the next, That's how you constantly grow in the spirit, with your faith. By activating your faith. Because it says here, I'm going to start Hebrews 11 and 1. And it says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for the evidence of things not seen, you know? So what are we hoping for? What are the elect men hoping for? What are we striving for when we're in this truth, you know? We're striving, you know, to be delivered up out of here, you know, by our belief and faith in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. We're striving to do the work, you know, to wake up the hopeful elect and to hopefully be delivered, you know, when them chariots come, you know, when the missiles start flying in the sky, you know. We're hoping, you know, that we get delivered up out of here, you know, when the missiles start to fly off in the sky, you know, and to come up to destroy America, you know. That's our belief and that's our hope, you know, for the evidence of things not seen. Because ultimately, we haven't seen this yet, you know. We haven't seen the chariots come, you know. We haven't seen it yet, you know. Though it may seem impossible, you know, when we tell Jake out there in the world or these other heathens that we deal with when we're out there on the highways and byways, they look at us, we're crazy, you know, and like we ain't got no sense, you know. But that's the faith, you know. Because little do they know, you know, these people don't know nothing, you know. They don't know anything, you know. Because Esau puts these things in these movies and, you know, the top elites of society, they know. And they scared shitless, you know. They can't sleep at night, you know. We know that they can't rest or sleep well at night, you know. Because of why? Because these prophecies are coming to pass, you know. And this is the year of prophecy. A lot of prophecies are coming to pass. We're starting to see a lot of prophecies unfold, you know. So these elites, they know, the top banking families, you know, particularly the Rothschilds, you know, DuPont, Gettys, Oppenheimers, you know, Bilderbergs, you know. Those people, you know, they know what's coming and they can't sleep well at night. It's only the average day peons that walk by us that think that the society is going to continue on the way it's going to continue on forever, you know. So that's why we look past them, you know. We just look straight right through them, you know. They look at us like we're crazy, but we're looking at them, you know, like, you know, you don't know a damn thing. You have no sense, you know. But anyways, so these things haven't taken place yet. But it's the faith and it's the substance of the belief that we believe in, that we wholly believe in this thing, you know. Believing in something that you have not seen, that's faith, you know. That's what you call faith, you know. And that's what you need, you know, to get past and to get through the trials and tribulations where you're going through in this truth, you know. And I'm just going to use a couple of examples of, you know, men that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua was dealing with, you know, when their faith was tested, when their faith was challenged, you know, and they made it through the challenge, you know. So this is the first challenge right here, you know. The first challenge is, you know, Abel, you know. It says Hebrews 11:4. By faith Abel offered up unto the Most High a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, and God testifying of his gift, and by it he being dead yet spoken, you know. So Abel, he believed, he had faith, you know. His faith was to offer up a righteous sacrifice that the Most High would accept the sacrifice, and truly the Most High accepted it, you know. And he did it through faith, you know, because he believed, you know. Now that's the number one faith challenge right there, you know. And this is another one in verse 5. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because the Most High had translated him from before his translation. He had this testimony that he pleased the Most High, you know. So By faith, Enoch, he didn't see death, you know. He didn't die, you know. He was able to just go straight up into the spirit world while he was yet alive, you know. Why? Because he had faith. His faith was challenged. He believed, you know. And he passed the test, you know, because of his faith, you know. And I just read right here, let me just read it again. Verse 6. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him, you know. So the Lord is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. What are we doing as men of the Lord? You know, in particular the men of GMS, the apostles on down of GMS, you know. We're using our faith to believe in the Most High and to believe in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. You know, we have to believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So we're diligently seeking the Most High. How we're doing that, you know, we're constantly making more videos, you know, we're making more shows, you know, we're going out there on the highways and byways, you know, preaching this word, you know, prophesying the downfall of America, and telling these heathens that if you're not of the bloodline of so-called Negroes, Hispanics, you know, Native and Seminole Indians, they're going into slavery, you know. And we believe that, and the Lord said that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So we're constantly seeking the Most High, you know, by praying more, fasting, you know, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, you know. That's what we're seeking. That's how we're seeking, you know, the Most High. And he's going to reward us, you know, of our diligence, you know. Because all our works is not going to go in vain, you know. Even though brothers got the mindset that, you know, they don't care that if they don't make it into the kingdom, you know. We're just doing this because we're constantly seeking Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Because ultimately, you really don't care, you know, the more you grow in this faith, and the more you progress in this truth and persevere in this truth, you know, you don't really think about the promises. Your mind is not wrapped up on, you know, the kingdom, you know, and the riches and the glory that we're going to receive in the kingdom. Your mind and your continence is based upon, you know, doing this work, you know, finishing the course, you know, staying the course and finishing this course, you know. I could speak for most brothers, you know, that's the kind of same mindset that they have, you know, that all they just want to do is just, you know, you get to a certain point, you know. At first, you know, you say the kingdom, you know, we're gonna be in the kingdom, you know, the kingdom of heaven is for the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Haitians, you know, Native and Seminole Indians, you know, that we're gonna be the next people to rule the next world. We're gonna be the people to rule the world forever under our Lord, who is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. You know, it's lovely, you know, it's nice, but once you get into this truth, and once you get into doing this work, you know, in this ministry, you know, you're constantly growing. You're growing by the Spirit, you know, day by day, you know. So your focus is, you know, I'll think about the kingdom later, but now, you know, I got to do this work, you know. I got to work out this salvation. I got to persevere. I got to survive in this truth, you know. That's what you're thinking about. You're not thinking about, you know, the glories or, you know, how it's going to be like in the kingdom, you know. You want to do this work first, then worry about that later, you know, when our Lord Yahushua comes back to deliver his hopeful elect, you know. So that's how that goes. But yet when you got brothers that come in this truth and they come in that mindset and they don't grow out of that mindset, you know, they're thinking more about the pain and more about the sufferings, you know, and they can't deal with the pain and the sufferings that come along with being in this truth. That's why they end up falling out, you know, because they don't have the faith, you know, to so that they could push through, you know, with being in this truth, you know. That's how they fall out this truth, you know. because their minds didn't progress, or they didn't use their faith, to persevere, through the trials and tribulations that they face being in the truth. They didn't pray, and they didn't believe, and they didn't pray in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, But, this is another example of a faith test right here. And it says, Noah, it says, by faith, Noah, being warned of the Most High, of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by which he commanded the world and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. And Noah, Noah was out there for 120 years, warning the people that a great flood was coming to the earth, because back then they didn't see flood, they didn't see rain, it didn't rain back then, the water, water came from the earth to water the grass and to the dew of heaven. They call that the morning dew. The dew came up from the ground, and that's how the waters, and that's how the grass was waters, by the dew of heaven. So there wasn't no rain back then. They didn't hear nothing of that back then. But no one having that faith, to be out there for 120 years to warn the people, that was faith. He did it through faith. And that's how him and his household was saved, by his faith, And here's another one, a great man, of faith, Abraham. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive from an inheritance, obeyed. And he went out, and knowing whether he want. And it says, by faith he sojourned in the land, and promised as in a strange country, dwelling in the tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. So Abraham, with his faith, the Most High told him to offer up Isaac, his only son, Isaac, his son, his son, his own flesh and blood, and he had Isaac by a woman that he truly loved, that he really deeply loved, to have a son by a woman that you loved, and and you're faced to sacrifice that son that you had by that woman that you loved, that's a heavy thing. But Abraham, he was gonna actually do it, he was gonna actually offer up Isaac, his only begotten son, to the Most High, and that's a heavy thing, to offer up your only son, that came out of your loins, your flesh and blood, to the Most High, that's a heavy thing. But Abraham, he had that faith, he had that unbelievable faith that he was going to do that he was going to do it. But, the Most High, seeing that he was going to do it, and that his faith made him whole, the Most High stopped him, and said, no, I got a reasonable sacrifice for you to offer me, which was the ram that was caught in the bush, So that was going to be the ultimate sacrifice. But his challenge, his test, was to see that if Abraham was actually going to offer up Isaac, as a sacrifice to the Most High, which Abraham was willing to do it, But the Most High, had a reasonable sacrifice for him, and that was that ram swarm. So his faith was tested. His faith was being challenged, The Most High challenged his faith, and he passed, and pretty much, I just wanted to give, a few examples of, men that was in this truth, men, holy men, that their faith was challenged, faith challenged, that their faith was challenged, and that they were able to complete, the test, and that their faith got them through their tribulations and their way of thinking, to please the Most High. Because I just read in the book of Hebrews 11:6 that without faith it is impossible to please Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, So we as men of the Lord, the men of GMS, the elders and apostles on down, we have that faith, and we're striving, to be delivered up out of this hellhole that we're in, this slavery and this hell that we're in, this captivity, this bitter, harsh captivity, We strive to be delivered up out of here, We strive to be delivered up in them chariots, That's our faith and our belief, that we are the elect men, We believe that we are the elect men that will be delivered up out of this hellhole that we're in, This captivity, this bitter captivity that we're made to save, We believe that we'll be delivered in those chariots, And looking on down from those chariots, seeing, America burning up, We believe that we're going to see the downfall of Esau. That we're going to see actual Esau's downfall. His crumbling of his society, As those missiles come flying through the sky, flying through the atmosphere, down onto America and destroying America, And we're looking in those chariots and looking on down and seeing the destruction of this place, That is our faith and belief, That is our patience and faith, Like it says in the book of Revelations 13:9, That's what we believe, And let me get that real quick, and I'm going to end it with that scripture, So Revelations 13:9. So this is our belief and our faith, He that have an ear, let him hear. Revelations 13:9. He that have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, That is our patience and faith, Which, the men of GMS, the apostles on down, That is our patience and faith, That's what we believe as men of the Lord, to see the downfall of our enemies, To see the downfall of Esau, To see the downfall of the society, And we believe that by faith, And that is the faith, that we believe that we're going to see the downfall of our enemies, So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying. And I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakwah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. And peace and salutations to your brothers out there in the highways and byways that's doing this work, sincerely and diligently. And with that, I want to say shalom.